Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Now you probably noticed it's an extra long show today, and part of the reason for that is it is a truly glorious map. It is as good as they get. Before we get on and review the map, I'm going to make a correction, but before I go on to the correction, let you know that this coming Friday, no it's not Duvo, I've got a null exception error. I'm trying to work out what's causing it, but I have a one-off show that I think you're going to enjoy. If it's popular, I'll do more, okay? But it has to be popular. We're talking about like tens of thousands of views. So that's coming on Friday. Map review is coming today. But before we crack on with today's map, I'd like to make a correction for last week and an apology, not just to you guys as well for making an error, but also to Imihihulis, whose map the error was upon. We've done a little bit of discussion in the comments on the workshop, and I have got to the bottom of the issue, and it's something that I wasn't aware of. It is a bit of a bug with one of the mods. But let's put things right, shall we? So yes, this is Boulder Cove as I reviewed it last week. I'm showing it like this first of all. We'll switch it to how it should look in a moment. Now, the bug in question is regarding the theme mixer, because what we're looking at here, the theme isn't right. And obviously, if I'm not showing the map with the correct theme, then I'm not showing the map as it's intended to be displayed to you guys, and I'm not doing my job right, if you can call this a job. So, what's wrong with it? Well, we're supposed to be using a Rocky Shore, Stray Cats theme, a Rocky Shore. But this coastline here, this sand is not Rocky Shore. Now, I just loaded this map up with Rocky Shore. Definitely is the theme in question. The problem is with Theme Mixer. Now let me show you up in the options first of all. Come into the options, open up options, there we go. Come down to Theme Mixer. Now you can see Theme Mixer isn't actually enabled in the options. It's enabled in the Content Manager, but it's not enabled in the options. Now it turns out that when you load up a map with Theme Mixer enabled in the Content Manager but not in the options, then you can get this kind of thing going on. Now I do like to have Theme Mixer enabled so that I can switch between it on and off while in game. And so what we've got here, this, let me show you the grass texture. This is important now, right? Pay some careful attention. This is a Rocky Shore grass texture. But this is Boulder City, Boulder something. It's Douglas's theme from his desert maps, and the one that I use for sand in St. Catherine's Point. So we've got a bit of a mix here, even though we haven't got the theme mixer enabled. Now let me show you again, going to the options here. Options. Now I'm going to enable it. Now you'll notice there'll be no change with the sand, but the grass texture will change. Watch this. Enabled. There we go. So there's no change with the sand, but now we've got the grass texture that I use within St. Catherine's Point. That's because the mod is enabled. But now watch this. We're going to disable the mod. Boom. Now, look at this. The sand has changed to Rocky Shore, but the grass is back to that same grass theme. So that was what the problem was with the map last week. I'd like to apologise to Imihihuli. I was completely blissfully unaware that this was actually a thing, and I have stuck something in the bug reports in the comments, and it turns out that somebody's got a similar problem, but with the grass texture in the comments bug report on the workshop. So anyway, yes, my bad. I'm going to try and do better in future. I'm going to try to remember to... I still like to have Theme Mixer enabled because it's handy to switch between on and off actually in game. But just got to remember to make sure that the settings are correct before we do a review. Let's take a quick fly over the map for those of you that saw it last time round and would like I think the main difference is that the sand is this more of a muddy colour rather than a gravelly, and that's the intended look. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it would have affected my overall score in terms of the aesthetics. It certainly won't change the gameplay potential, and in terms of detailing, that's not going to change either. So the score won't actually be amended. Oh, hello. Somebody's whizzed past my window with sirens blaring. Lovely. I love living here. But it's a really nice map. Very, very playable. And yes, if you haven't already subscribed to it, I think maybe you should. But that's from Monday last week's show, Boulder Cove by Imi Hihuli. And I will link it again back into the description just in case you've missed out and you really want to have a little look at it. So that's enough of the apologies and corrections. Let's crack on with today's show. How far into the show are we? 5.5 minutes. Right, we really need to start moving. It's well worth it. I promise you, you're going to like today's map. It's a good one. It's by a top creator. And if you like things, you know what to do. Yes, it's your daily reminder. That's right, hit the like button, really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for your support. Today's map is Two Brothers Islands by Sidai. Sidai, absolutely, unquestionably one of the elite map creators of the moment, and I was really looking forward. When I saw this pop up on the workshop, I was so excited. There's your start square. All happy with that? Yeah, just about. Resources are a lot used for painting, but definitely usable for gameplay as well, so why not? Off to the workshop. Now, the requirement list on the right is the minimum requirements. There is a one-click collection which we'll have a look at in a moment, which includes a few extra bits and pieces as well if you want all the bits. We'll be using the Seychelles map theme and the coastal LUT. Now, there's a whole bunch of light settings there as well. We'll be talking a little bit about that before we crack on with the... because there's all sorts of problems with the show today. Not really problems, but problems. Here is your requirement list, your one-click collection. Yes, of course, I have Daylight Classic, but I'm using the old version because of Cube Map Replacer, which we won't be using today, but I can't be switching between the old and new versions of Daylight Classic. Not that simple a thing to do. Now, this is close to what Sidai is wanting us to see, but because I'm using the old version of Daylight Classic, there's one setting in the Daylight Classic that I can't choose at the moment. Let me find Daylight Classic. Up here it is. I cannot choose the classic sunlight color and intensity options. I'm clicking on those, nothing is happening. So it'll make a minor difference to the color, but I'm pretty close to the screenshots. I don't think it's a huge swathe out, but if in doubt, have a little look at the screenshots on the workshop and you'll get a better idea. Now, also the clouds and fog toggler, they would like the fog switched on, the edge of fog switched on. We'll be switching it off because there's some really good stuff out there I really want you to see. Now, playing with it switched off so that so you can't see the edge of map, I totally agree with that, but for the sake of this review and the quality, which is right up to the edge of the map, 100% I'm switching it off, but yes, it's supposed to be left on. Okay, I think you get the point. Like, basically this is like clouded and fogged, this intersection. I really want to show you this. Looks really good, but we do have a minor problem, minor weeny problem here with traffic, just merging problems there. We've got a little bit of tailback. It's not the worst, but when you start building a city, the amount of traffic that's going to come onto here will increase. And the worst thing that will happen is it will slow your city from growing, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It'll stop your death waves a little bit, but it's also something that you won't be able to fix if you're perfect bridge, by the way, perfect custom bridge. There's going to be a lot of perfection in today's map, by the way. Like toll booth, we don't often see the tolls used in maps, and this is used to perfection. Really good work. So where were we? Yes, I was talking about traffic flow at that location. You won't be able to fix it without the 81 tile mod, and if you wish to play standard vanilla game, then you won't be able to get to it and fix it. There we are. Right, we've got a little tunnel linking the island to the mainland here. That's all pretty nice, of course. Even underground mode, it just looks really glorious, doesn't it? Down here we've got some industrial stuff going on, some building. We've got, you can only access it by water, by the way. This isn't actually connected to the highway, which means that anything that catches fire down here is going to burn down. We've got a solar farm like that. Haven't seen that done for a little while. And we've got ventilation shafts going down to the tunnel. I like that as well. That's a little sort of oversight, that little thing that is overseen. Why my brain's not working? Yes, it's something that's an oversight from most other people. There we go, I'm going with that. Tunnels emerge here, some great use of the keys as well to just look so slick and professional. Of course it does. Sidai. And we'll follow the roads along. Now we won't be able to see every little bit of road on this, but the network goes kind of around the island. And again, look at this, just slick and polished all the way. Now I'm going to call this a fantasy map. Oh, look at the billboards done in little squares. I like that as well. You can see it from the rail and from the road. Good work. Yeah, I'm going to call this a fantasy map. It's bordering on real, but it's also everybody's favourite factory in the corner there. We won't be having a look at that later. I've completely forgot to go back and record that section, and there is something about that section I want to talk about. Oh, darn it. Oh my god. Anyway, no, sorry. Yeah, loop-de-loop up onto the bridge. I'm quite happy with this. And again, beautifully worked. Everything about this is spot on. And 2 more perfect custom bridges running in parallel with each other. Really smart. Oh, darn it. Dagnabbit. I need to show you the... I'll talk about that when we get to the rail. I'll talk about that. Okay. I won't be able to show you it. It's so frustrating. I'm so sorry. I failed. Juggling too many things today. Lovely intersection, this one. But is it good underneath? Let's dock a point for having a pillar collision or something underneath here. Definitely want to dock a star for that. So we go down here, a little look under here, because there's bound to be oh, maybe there isn't. Well, I can't dock a star for that because that's perfect. Because Sidai is perfect. Very nice work. Can't check everything. I'm not checking the other side, but I'm sure it's as good as that side. Now, if we were to carry on along this road, it would take us off the edge of the map via a different route. We are going to be turning left there, because obviously look down there. We're going to miss out on a few of those intersections, but we need to come this way because just the other side of this tunnel is the start square. And the start square is important. Very important, no less, actually. We emerge over here. We've got this intersection again. Absolute perfection. Beautiful curves. Looks really aesthetically pleasing. And it leads us down to where we need to get started. And somewhere down there will be an asset to review. Can you see it yet? Can you? It's camouflaged. It really is. It's camouflaged. Yes, today we're going to have a look at the Silver Birch 2.0 by MrMaison. The trees. These aren't part of the map. This is the asset review. These are lovely. And only MrMaison can improve on nature. This is 2.0. Factoids, because factoids, and this is going to show you how old this book is. Listen to this. This is how old this book is. David Bowie and Elton John. Wait for this. Is a shock. This is a real shocker. David Bowie and Elton John have both admitted to being bisexual. I know, right? Who would have thought that about Elton John? I haven't got a clue. Never passed my mind that maybe he might swing both ways, or even just one way. Anyway, just look at the quality of the rendering. It's just such great design and perfect. It's Silver Birch 2.0 by MrMaison, today's asset of the day. And so let's have a little skirt around this beautiful highway layout. And this is honestly, this is as good as you get. It doesn't get any better than this. All the intersections are juicy. You want to bite into them and just like, ooh. And the way we work in and around the terrain, it just feels natural and normally the only way it can be. Now the rail, I'm so miffed right now. I really am. Because, well, when I get to the end of show ratings, look at the detailing on this intersection. Basic but effective. Little bit like me, except for minus the effective bit. Oh dear. And look at the hedge work as well. The hedge work, it just feels natural and normal and believable. Love it. So yes, when we get to the ratings at the end, that little bit of, oh yeah, we have a potential start location here. Looks good. And some standing stones there as well, which I'm going to have to talk a little bit about in a minute too. So where were we? Yes. So when I get to the end and I'm giving this thing stars at the end, there's going to be a whole section that I haven't recorded, and you're going to have to trust me on it. There might just be enough peripheral view of it as we go past it, for you to be able to pause and have a look, and or you can just look at the overhead view or whatever. But anyways, we'll get onto that. It's not a game breaker, don't worry. It's not a map breaker. It's not something that you're gonna rely on. It's just one of those points of order where you go, ah, yes, you got a point of order there, BonBonB. I don't care about your point of order, but you have one. Where were we? We're just nipping across here. This intersection is glorious again. That leaps back round to where we started, all the way over there. And I'll have another look at this in the second half of the show. We'll come back to that intersection. And then off to the edge of the map again, which would be, of course, be clouded in fog. Like this would be clouded in fog. But I really want to show you the keys and the way they've been worked in at the base of the bridge. Can't see it with the clouds on. That's why we have the clouds off today. Now, this tunnel, there's a little bit of a drop in elevation there. But to be honest with you, it's a fantasy map. And also, that also would be more or less in fog. So I'm going to let that go. And we've got a supporting wall along there. There'll be another one in a minute as well over here. Nice supporting wall alongside of that. So yes, the rail. Now the point I want to make with the rail is regarding the harbour area. And we've got lots of dead ends in the harbour area where the, look at this again, rail tunnel there. See the way it glitches up a little bit, that's fine. And over here, because we've got glitching, we're actually hiding it a little bit with the billboard. I like that, that's superb. Where were we? Yes, so the harbour area, there's lots of dead end bits of rail that are literally, the only thing they're doing is preventing you from building on that particular area, because you won't be able to get rail or use the rail into those nooks and crannies. So we've got some rail detailing that is either just going to be left because you're not going to build on it, or you're going to have to demolish it to build on it, which costs nothing, basically. A nice little elevated bit of rail here as well. It's gentle and smooth, and I can let that go quite happily. So yes, you're going to have to demolish the bits of rail in the harbour. That's the only thing, short of leaving it and just leaving it unused, or demolish it and then build on it. So for me, it's detailing which is actually in the way a little bit. It doesn't serve any purpose, and so that's a minor negative, just a minor negative, because demolishing it will cost you nothing. Now the rail here, we're going up to a fairly high bridge here, and I'm going to let it go again because fantasy map, and this is not so steep that in the case of a fantasy map we can't let this go. Come on, can we let this go on the fantasy map? It gets a little bit steeper as we get towards the top, like here, but it's not hideous, it's not horrendous. It's believable within the context of the map, and I'm prepared to let that go. It's not a game, and again, not a map breaker. If you're looking for a realist, then maybe you could demolish that and put it through as a tunnel, maybe, or I don't know. Just it's up to you what you do with it. It really is. But anyway, down here we just nip over that, and we'll skirt around this way. And shall we go left? Or we go left, I think. Oh, I like this here. Yes, look at this. Two retaining walls, one on top of the other. There you go, that's the harbour. Pause, take it back, have a little look at the harbour. Sorry, it's too late for me to re-edit this. And yes, that was what I was talking about back there. Do you want to get away from me for a minute? Yeah, let's have that intermission, shall we?
Are you having trouble keeping roundabouts around when you connect other roads? Do you wonder how on earth do other people manage this? Then you need BonBonB's Guide to Perfect Roundabouts. Click the information button now.
And back to the shipping routes at Two Brothers Islands by Sidai. And there's nothing wrong with the shipping routes at all. Or the air routes for that matter. Everything is as you would want them. We've got the bridge that's definitely high enough here. So we've got the rail going slightly too steep, but we're letting that one go. And the air routes as well, nice and smooth and all curved, and everything's just lovely. So that's all good. But what about the water flow? There is the question. And the answer about water flow is, although we've got all these little tiny little rivers going on, the start square has this little lake down here that you can draw from, which It's okay. It's just about enough. And over here, though, we have coastline, and we've got coastline with a water spawn point, which will push out your sewage to sea, which is perfect. So now we've got the clouds back on, so Sidai will hopefully be happy, apart from not having all the settings of Daylight Classic switched on. And now look at this. Now look at this for detailing. This is quality. Look at where all the seaweed and the deadwood is, the driftwood. It's on the ocean side of the sandbank. That is attention to detail. I am duly impressed indeed. Now you see those little rocks there and the logs though. And this is something that, again, it's just a point for thought. If you want to play this map as a detailer, those are the things that will start floating. Little bonbon islands going on here. Those are the props, the vanilla props that float when you are using prop snapping. And I've noticed this to my detriment with my own maps at Catherine's Point. And a few little fields on here. It's, again, nice looking islands. So yes, and perfect use of that vanilla rock. Very, very seldom you see those vanilla rocks used well. Those little flat ones that came with the original game. Another bonbon island over here with an isthmus. Merry Isthmus, everybody. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry at all, actually. So yes, if you are looking to use this as a detailing map, there are going to be things around the map that will start floating and hovering, because there's a liberal use of those rocks and a few of the logs as well. The mountains look so good. And see all these little lakes? These lakes are a saviour, right? See the way that they are? They're dotted down the mountain here. You imagine that they're all linked by like little underground, little tunnel networks, and they emerge here. Now, if that was on its own, that little lake there, I wouldn't believe the amount of water that was coming out of it. But because we've got the lakes above it, I can believe that maybe it's being fed from further up. And so, I believe it. I do. I've got a waterfall here, tall waterfall, and the little bathing area. Do you know what? I would quite happily get down to my shorts and have a little paddle in there. Paddle. Get my ankles wet. Where were we? Oh yes, we're following the river down. The river is just lovely. Again, just lovely. Just enough foliage around the outside to say, hey, look, it's definitely fertile land around here. And there's plenty of fertile land around the entire map. Bit of fantasy detailing down here as well. I like this. This is nice. This is very, very nice indeed. What more can we have a look at around this map? There's so much. This is why these shows are going to be so long. Like here, we've got this cave. Now, I'm not a fan of this cave, but I'm not the actual cave itself. How Sidai's used it is, well, about as good as you can do, right? Oh, we've got down here. Oh, we've got a battery down here as well to keep the invaders away. But yeah, that cave. It's one of my least favourite vanilla assets. I very rarely see them used well. Oh, we've got the castle. Ooh, it's a castle. And again, oh, better just check out this tower. Yeah, look. The door is actually facing the path. And we've got cannons. And we've got benches. And you're about to see the biggest detailing floor on the entire map. Are you ready? The biggest detailing floor on the entire map is this hovering bench here. No, I'm not losing a star for that. Don't worry. If that's as bad as it gets, then I'm not losing a star for that. Not on its own, anyway. This is just great work. I'm going to show you something in a second that is going to... where are we? Somewhere around there. This is just a great fort. And what we'll show you here, if we zoom in here, you can just see a little bit of... Oh, there's blue mantle down there. So I thought I was going to try and be clever. And I'm going to show you how difficult this is, right? So we're going to choose one of these standing stones. And we're going to paste it here. And suddenly the other standing stone has disappeared. That one didn't appear. That one won't replace itself. I don't think there's anything Sidai could do about that at all. I've just made a bigger mess of it than... I just look like a 2-second job, and it really isn't. So anyway, I'm going to delete that one. The other standing stone, which was tucked into the crease, is gone. It's there somewhere, but it's gone. Sorry, Sidai, I broke your map. Oh, we've got so many lovely hidden beaches down here, and we've got this little what's it, river delta, I guess, isn't it? That I think. That's where the streams are coming out. We've got a couple more beautiful beaches down here. It's such a great theme, and the combination with the LUT, it just looks so good. And when you've got, well, work of this sort of quality, it all comes together to make something really glorious. Oh look, we've got another, what's going on here? I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. It's a combination of two things. But yes, those standing stones, they hover when you're using prop snapping. So if you're using prop snapping, you might want to go in and edit the map first of all to take out these bits. Oh, we got something really... Do you know what? This is the best use of the Park Life Glory Hole I have ever seen. There's something like the Blue Water Hole of Belize or something. I don't know. It does say in the description. But yes, fill it with water. That's the best thing to do with the Glory Hole. Yes, well done, Sidai. I wish I thought of that. I might have done something like that, but I didn't. It takes a genius to come up with these things, and we are definitely in the company of genius here. We've got here, another one is, again though, I don't like the cave, but it's kind of done as well as it could possibly be done, so credit there. So what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the best maps of the month? Only you can decide. I'm going to give you my ratings in a second. They're going to be high. For me, if I'm voting, I'd give this 5 stars for the map, all told. Aesthetically, it's a 5-star map for me. Definitely. Don't really see what more Sidai could do to improve on it. It's just spot on. Detailing. Now, those I'm actually going to dock it a star. It's a 5-star for detailing as a rule, but those extra rail lines that are dead ends that are going to have to be deleted to be able to use the harbour properly, that's surplus detail, and I don't feel that it was really needed. I mean, it does look good, but that's under aesthetics. For detailing, I think it's just a step too far. 4 stars for detail. Gameplay potential for possible traffic flow issues that are outside of the control of the vanilla player, and there is an awful lot of these rocks that will float and standing stones that will float for those that want to play a detail game. I'm going to give 4 stars for gameplay. I don't normally knock a star for gameplay for that, but it does get the BonBonB seal of approval. But it is something I'm going to be looking out for in the future, so I'm not picking on Sidai for that one. It's just something that it actually only occurred to me because I had prop snapping switched on when I started the review, and I had to restart the entire, well, I had to reload the map for a 3rd time as it happened, but we won't go into that, to actually start the review because there was stuff floating. So that's prop snapping. It's a lot of people, if you're a detailer using it, you need it. So anyway, I'm justifying losing a star on that. Anyway, thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing, and for sticking around right to the very end. You guys are the absolute best, and I'll see you tomorrow.